1, 2, 3, 4. Don't you treat me wrong. Come and love your daddy all night long right now. Hey, hey, alright. You see the girl with the diamond ring? She knows how to shake that thing, yeah, right now, mama. Hey, 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 hey. Tell your mama, tell your pa, I'm gonna send you back to Arkansas. Yes, now mama, you don't do it right. You don't do it Hey everyone, and welcome back to Swift Guitar Lessons for another by request tutorial. I'm gonna get right to it. Today I'm breaking down how to play Ray Charles' What I Say, and this lesson goes out to Damon. Thank you so much for putting in your request. I got all the tabs and chords and everything at patreon.com/swiftlessons, where you can find a wide range of other resources. Now, let's get started with your lesson. Okay, close look at the fretboard, and we're getting started with our intro section. I want to bring up, before you get started, it's very important to know what kind of progression that you're jamming over top of, so that way you can see how these riffs are being constructed. So this is a 1-4-5 progression in the key of E. That means that if you went into your E major scale, you would see that E was the first chord, or the first note in the scale, A was the fourth, or A7 in this case, and B, or B7, is your 5 chord. Okay, so that's called chord notation, using the scale, specifically the major scale, to figure out chord progressions, so that way you can change keys very easily. Alright, so we know that we're working with a 1-4-5 progression in the key of E. This is really common stuff. Alright, so using that progression, Ray constructs this great riff. Sounds like this. Alright, so that's what we're playing over top of the E chord. It's just the open E string, the second fret of the A string, our B note, then we're going to the open D string, and the second fret of the D string, our root E. So far we have. Alright, then we're going to do basically the same thing, open E string, but then we're going to play second fret A string twice, then the open D, and then the second fret D string back to our root. So I'm playing it with one finger because it's keeping my G string quiet. Actually the G string, the B string, and the high E string. I'm really trying to stifle those notes and not let them ring, even if it's just from the vibration of those thicker lower strings. The other option that you could try though is using 2 fingers, your middle and your ring, for example. Just like that. Alright, but I'm going to stick with my technique here. I'm going to do the exact same thing now, but everything is coming down one string to the floor, technically up one string, right? Sonically, to the A chord. Now we're going to open A string, second fret D string, open G string, second fret G string A, the root of this chord. Just like that. Same thing, we're going to double that second note, and then we're back to the E. Okay, next we have the B chord. We're essentially going to do everything that we did on the A chord, but up 2 frets or a whole step. So here we have a B power chord. That's the 2nd fret A string, the 4th fret D string, and the 4th fret G string. So here we're going to play. So with that power chord fretted, strike the 2nd fret A string, the 4th fret D string, take the pinky off and just have the 2nd fret G string with your bar, and then put your pinky down on the 4th fret of the G. So you're just playing around within that power chord. Alright, then we're going to the A. There I do the double. So it's kind of like we're splitting between those 2 chords. We're splitting that riff up. Then finally back to the E chord before we get into our strumming pattern. Okay, we have our dual action view, my left hand and also my right. We're getting started with our strumming pattern. Basically what we're doing is converting what Ray was doing on the Fender Rhodes to the acoustic guitar. Now we're going to be using this strumming pattern first on our instrumental intro, but we're also going to be using it throughout the entire tune. It's going to sound like this, with an E major chord fretted. Actually, you know what? We're going to put our pinky on the 3rd fret of the B string to bluesify this with an E7 chord. Alright, so that strumming pattern is going to sound like this. Alright, so very percussive. The way we get that sound is by squeezing or pumping the hand to either shorten or completely mute strings. And the way I always like to teach this is if you're trying to get these types of strumming patterns down, think about only squeezing or fretting the strings when you want to hear something. Always, 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 it's really good to use your ear first and try to emulate certain things that you're hearing on the albums that you like. So without all those percussive elements, the strumming pattern is actually really simple. It's just down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Okay, so try using your ears, see what you can get in terms of putting in those percussive elements. But I'm going to walk you through step by step. It might take you a little while to get this down. It's something that you kind of, once you get it, you got it, and you'll be able to apply it to lots of different songs. So basically what I'm doing there, that first strum is staccatoed, shortened, like this. Then I'm going to follow that up with a down up. Practice that over and over again. Short, long, long. Once you have that down, add in a muted strum. Remove the pressure on the left hand and strike the muted strings. Now you have short, down, up, scratch. And notice how I'm kind of talking myself through it. Short, down, up, scratch. And I'm doing that so that way I kind of have a verbal guide, something to help me with the rhythm and also to keep track of where I am inside the strumming pattern. So, short, down, up, scratch. Then I'm going to follow that up with an upstroke. Short, down, up, scratch, up. And that's the first half of the strumming pattern that you have to get down. Short, down, up, scratch, up. Okay, moving on to the second half of the strumming pattern, we're going to have up, down, up, scratch, up. Practice saying that. Up, down, up, scratch, up. If you can't say it, you can't play it. So, you put all that together, we have. And occasionally, you might see me do a couple of different variations to that. One of my favorites is to hit the root first. I'll do that throughout the 1-4-5. Sometimes taking my pinky on and off on the A7 chord. Then I'm back to the E7. Alright, the B7 chord gets the same treatment. So it's root, down, up, scratch, up. Then a lick comes in. And a turnaround. Alright, and I'll break that down for you step by step now. Okay, so we just went through the 1-4-5 progression with our percussive strumming pattern. We had the E7 chord. E7, the B7, and then we're going into the lick. So, starting from the B7 chord, it's a shortened strumming pattern. We're only doing the first half, then we're launching right up into it. The lick sounds like this. Okay, so what we have there, we're taking our middle finger and sliding from the 2nd fret G up into the 4th fret G string, our pentatonic extension. Then we're going to go 3rd fret B string, 5th fret B string, 3rd fret B string, and then slide back the way we came. That's the 4th fret G to the 2nd fret G. Making sure that I slide from edge to edge. Open G string, 2nd fret D, open D. Then we have our turnaround there. So that's a pretty standard blues turnaround. Low E string, 4th fret G string, oftentimes sliding up into it. Open E string, it's the high E string. Do the same thing but back a fret, that was the 3rd fret G, then the open E string. Same thing, 2nd fret G, open E string. A hammer on to the 1st fret G string. These are things that are very similar to what we just saw in our self-accompaniment series. Then we're going to roll up into our B7 chord. Lots of different ways to go up into it. You can fret each note quickly, or you can just roll with hammer-ons to get into that B7 chord. So if you put all that together, we have the B7, and then strumming through to the B7 chord. Okay, next, we're getting into a section that I call the roll. This is a very tricky little section that will definitely require practice, and I can say that from experience because I also need to practice it a bunch more before I can feel confident with it. The way it sounds, nice and slow. Alright, and it gets us into our A7 chord. So it's very simple. It's a technique that we call slur. Tying 3 notes together, 3 or more notes. We're going 4, 5, 6, and then string skipping down to the B string 5th fret. You do that, I think it's about 5 times before you let it hang. Then repeat. Then we're going to descend down the E major scale. We're going 5th fret, B string, 4th fret, 2nd fret, open B string. And at this point it starts getting a little muddy in the mix. You can't really hear it too well. We could just hit an open G string because it's going to be a part of the A7 chord. Or you could try to get a little fancier with it and hammer onto the 1st fret G string so you stay within the scale. Then after that, you gotta get right into your strumming pattern on the A7 chord. Okay, so now you're getting into your verse. Very, very simple. We're just going to have the E7 chord, but during the E chord, we're not gonna actually hold out the strumming pattern. We're just gonna hit some stabs. So it's gonna be like this. Hey mama, don't you treat me wrong. Sometimes I throw in an A-E, just like that. Come and love your daddy all night long. All right now, then your strumming pattern over A, and then the E7. Alright. Then throw in that same exact turnaround. You're going to do it a whole bunch of times in this song. Alright, then we're getting into the next part. I see the girl with the diamond ring. She knows how to shake that thing right now. Hey, hey. Same strumming pattern. The B, same lick, same turnaround. Now I also demonstrated the next verse. Tell your mama, tell your pa, I'm gonna send you back to Arkansas. Yes, mama, do it right. It's all the same stuff, the B7. Same in turnaround. this part, right after that, it gets you into the only other section that we gotta learn, our build-up section. And that's the final section that we're gonna have to get down, the build-up. And this is gonna get us into an incoming instrumental section. It's gonna sound like this. Then you just continue on with your 12 bar the same way you did before. Okay, so the way we played that, we have an E power chord, holding the 2nd fret A string and droning the open E string, nice and low. Boom, boom, boom. Set up a G kind of chord, we're going middle finger, 3rd fret E string. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we're going up to a B chord. This is going to be ring finger, 7th fret, E string, middle finger, 6th fret, A string. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we're going to throw in this little riff here. That was the E string, 7th fret, A string 5th fret, 7th fret, back to the E string 5th fret, alright, to the 3rd fret, E string. You might bend that a little bit before going to the low E string. Then get into your 12 bar. Your E chord, you know exactly what to do, the B chord, and your turnaround. If you have all those parts, congratulations, you're ready to perform. Alright everyone, thanks so much for checking out this lesson on Ray Charles' What I Say. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much to my supporters at patreon.com/swiftlessons. I hope you're enjoying all the extra resources. I got many more videos coming up, so keep checking back. Please subscribe, please share. This is Rob at Swift Guitar Lessons in Philadelphia saying happy picking.